Hello, Juda students. It's Mr. Anderson, and working on some math again this week. I thought I'd take the opportunity, since it's May of 2020, to get us onto a few things with jobs, rate, and time. It's a good practice skill for the world about how fast people do things, and I have a paper slide video, so I'm going to turn the camera to the paper. Alright, so we're going to do a problem here, and we're going to paint the house. And we have two people that are going to help us paint our house. We have person Co and person Vid, and they're going to work together to paint our little house up here in the corner. And we know that person Co here alone paints a house in 8 days. And that's a little rough to read, but I wanted to do days. And Vid can paint a house alone in 12 days. Alright, so one person can do it in 8, the other person can do it in 12. And my first question for you is, what if this was a multiple choice question? And I gave you these answers. Alright, take a look here, maybe pause the video, but take a look. Alright, so one can do it in 8 days, the other can do it in 12, and I'll underline those, 8 and 12. So you see 20. Now, is that a reasonable answer? I want to be clear that I want you to think right away, working your way up that from the bottom, that 20 days can't possibly be the answer. If I can paint a house alone in 8 days and Vid helps me, it can't be more time. So not only does that get rid of the 20, it gets rid of the 10, which is the average of 8 and 12, and those are just distractors. Alright? But then there's two other answers. There's 6 days and 4.8 days. And before we get too deep on this, I want us to think about it. Well, how fast could Co paint half a house? Co could paint alone half a house in 4 days. We can divide 8 in our heads. And Vid would paint half a house in 6 days. So if they work together, here's half a house done, here's half a house done. Well, he's got 2 more days to help him, so it can't be 6 either. So this multiple choice question, even though we don't know how to do the problem yet, we already know the answer, okay? So let's work through some ideas about how we get there. Everybody, these problems are distance equals rate times time. Okay, but instead of distance, we're doing jobs, and it's always about the units. So the job is we're going to paint one house. The rate is Co and Vid. The unknown in this problem is time, and we want units to lead the way. So if we know that the job is a house per unit, we don't know the rate yet, but we know that time is going to be measured in days. So what's the unit on rate? Well, house equals blank times days. Well, to get the units to work, you have to have house on both sides. There's house, so we need a house, and we need the days to go away, so you put the days on the bottom. So when they cancel, you'd have day equals day. So you know the units have to be house per day. Well, alright, so let's think about this. So we said that Co could paint one house in 8 days. So we get 1 over 8, so it matches the units. Vid could do it in 1 in 12 days. And they work together. And here's the big thing. That means you have to add Co and Vid. Alright? So you're going to take 1/8 plus 1/12. And again, this is good calculator work, but I quick made a common denominator. And I got to point out here, the reason we can add these is that the units were the same. These are like terms. And I get that they can paint 5 houses in 24 days together. Okay? But we don't want to paint 5 houses. We want to paint 1. So, we set up one house. Their rate together is 5/24 house per day times time. And I want T alone. So I got to get rid of 5/24 and house per day. So I will multiply by the reciprocal of both, 24/5 day house on both sides. And I want you to catch, and this is a big deal, that all the things cancel, and over here house and house cancel, and 1 times 24 is 24/5 days. And if I do that math, 5 into 24, right, because 24 divided by 5, we get our answer, 4.8 days. I have a worksheet of these and some practice, and I'm going to record a video so you guys can see the steps. And again, it's not seemingly hard if you keep track of units, but it really is kind of tough. So you're going to have to practice. It's a good problem to understand. This happens out in the world all the time. If you have a couple people working on a job or 10 people working on a job, stuff like that. And the big thing to pick up is the rate gets bigger and bigger. Thanks a lot.